I said I was going to reserve judgment. I said it was not going to be decided off of one game. Okay, but how about two? Frederik Andersen has played his second AHL game, and unlike the first one where he split the load 50-50 and he let in a whole bunch of goals, this time he stayed in the entire way through. And to be fair, Frederik Andersen, as a guy who's rehabbing, coming back into pro hockey and starting to play again, he did do a pretty good job at the very end of regulation, keeping the Marlies in it, eventually sending them into a shootout. But aside from that, let's just go over Freddie Andersen and his entire time in the AHL so far, starting off with this game. So, yesterday's game, also against the Manitoba Moose, did not start out all too well for Freddie because he let in a goal 38 seconds in. Oh boy. Darn. Eventually, the Marlies come back. They score two. Gaudette and Robertson, of course. Robertson out here getting even more goals at the AHL level as if he needed any more. You had yourselves some more Manitoba action. End of the first period, start of the second period. Cole Perfetti, man. Oof, what a guy. What a snipe from Cole Perfetti onto Freddie Andersen. Eventually, the game goes into overtime because a few more goals here by the Leafs farm team as well as the Jets farm team. Eventually, things go down, and we have ourselves what is eventually a shootout. The shootout, as you know by the result of the game already, is won by Manitoba. You have yourselves goals scored by Cole Perfetti, man. Again, darn. Cole Perfetti, eh? What a guy. And David Gustafsson, of all people, too. So Freddie Andersen is a guy who, in this game, ends up saving 34 shots on 38 total shots against. 4 goals allowed in 64 minutes of playing time. Let's do the math on that. The save percentage here, 34 divided by 38, is an .894 save percentage. Okay, better than before. Still not amazing. Freddie Andersen, if you go over his entire profile here, though, 2 games played at the AHL level, a .377 goals against average, and an .885 save percentage. Kind of weird and wacky because this statistical performance is one of the worst sample sizes we have seen from Freddie Andersen in his entire pro career. I'm being serious about that. You're going to have to go all the way back to, oh man, the Denmark U20s at the World Juniors in 2008, where he had similar numbers, an .854 save percentage and a .561 goals against average back then. He was 0-4-0. Freddie Andersen this time around, though, is in a spot where now, after coming back from that injury, suiting back up for the Marlies, he's putting up a show that says to me, you know, if you are really looking for a number one starter to guarantee yourselves a chance in the Stanley Cup playoffs in 2021, you're going to have to do a lot of convincing to me if you were trying to pitch that Freddie Andersen is your guy. Like, I'm sorry. Just the way things have gone down over here, I think Samuel Turpak on Twitter kind of made a good point. We may be seeing, maybe, not guaranteed, just maybe, we may be seeing the very first of the new Leafs after Shanahan became president fall off due to age and or injuries. And, you know, that is pretty sad. It's not funny. No idea how to react to that. We all kind of know what Freddie Andersen has been for the Leafs the past few years. This guy has been played so much more than any other goaltender out there. So many more shots against than any other goaltender out there because, of course, he plays for the Leafs. And now, things have been looking really rough for him, man. That sucks. And honestly, you know, I can sit here and pick stats all day long and talk about Jack Campbell and David Rittich and whether or not these guys are going to be great. But at the end of the day, Freddie Andersen was the guy for a very long time, and throughout all the ups and downs that the Toronto Maple Leafs have had, Freddie Andersen as a whole definitely was not a down. So, talk to me in the comments what you kind of think about this. Obviously, if Freddie Andersen, comes back to Toronto, he's already in Toronto with the Marlies. If he comes back to the Maple Leafs, and he just becomes all of a sudden lights out, great again, no goals against, the guys out here, solid .930 save percentages going around like crazy. If he does that, then okay, this entire video sucks, no point in it, just gonna go out there and correct myself for the future just in case that does happen. But you would rather see him go out there with a very good performance in the AHL than not. Because what he's displayed so far right now, yeah, it's not good. So talk to me in the comments what you kind of think here about Freddie Andersen and the entire situation. If you're a Leafs fan, again, tell me, are you confident in Campbell, confident in Rittich, confident in the product that you're going to ice out there on the ice, knowing what you know about Freddie Andersen? Sure, he's lost in a shootout. Anybody can win a game in a shootout. It can go any way. But at the end of the day, an .885 save percentage. It was actually a lot worse at the beginning stages of yesterday's game against the Moose until the Moose started getting more shots on goal that were actually being saved. But still, a sub-9 save percentage and a .377 goals against in the AHL. For Freddie Andersen, who's in a contract year, things are getting a bit rough, I would say. So talk to me in the comments about all this stuff with Freddie Andersen and the confidence you have in Toronto goaltending. Also, because we're already on the subject, it's kind of weird thinking about it, but he is indeed expiring. So if things go down the absolute worst case scenario tunnel for Freddie Andersen and eventually he does not make his way back to the Maple Leafs, I honestly don't know how I'd feel about that. Like, to be honest, Freddie Andersen is kind of embodied within that culture for the Maple Leafs in my own personal head. So just the possibility of him maybe not even coming back because of the inconsistencies and whether or not he would be completely healthy and completely good while healthy and all this stuff. Man, it's really tough to think about, to be honest. So talk to me in the comments about all that stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. So that show us the 99. And bye.